Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let's take a look at the new Safari tabs and tabs groups features coming in macOS Monterey. MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to macmost.com/Patreon. There you can read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So one of the most noticeable new features in macOS Monterey will be how Safari looks. Specifically at the top of the window, how tabs and the address field are now merged, and there's something new called tab groups. This is going to make it a lot easier to manage lots of tabs in Safari. So let's launch Safari here. And you won't see much of a difference when you bring up a new window like this. Here is the address field, also the place where you would search, and you can see it's at the top of the window with other buttons as well. The change happens as soon as you open another tab. So let's go first to another web page. And then let's create a new tab. Now I could do that with the plus button here or Command T. And now you can see the difference. Right here is the first tab and here's the second tab. Notice that the field at the top is in line with the tabs. Matter of fact, it is the tab. So let's go to another page here. And now you can see I've got two tabs here. This is the one that's the current page I'm looking at. So you can see the field here is larger than the others and it's a little bit of a darker color. But if I want to switch to this tab I just click it and you can see this one becomes larger and this one is pushed off to the side. Notice also the toolbar here is going to match the contents of the page. So I've got black here whereas here I've got white. Let's create another tab and go to another page. So you can see here now I've got three tabs. And the current tab gives me the active address field. And I can click here, search for something, type in a new URL just like I could before, except it's just not on a separate line above everything else. If I want to switch to another tab, just click on the tab and then that becomes the active address field. Notice also before there was a bunch of different functionality in buttons here in the toolbar, but now they're all under this one button here. I click there and I have the ability to reload the page, share, bookmark, create a quick note, which is new functionality in Monterey, and get the privacy report. So those are all under this button right here. Now where's the close button? Well, where the icon is, if you move your cursor over that, you could see it changes to the close button and I can click there to close the tab. Now if you keep adding tabs here this will get crowded just like before. But we have a new feature called tab groups which will give you some more control over that. So to see tab groups, bring up the sidebar by clicking here. And here you've got, instead of different sections for the sidebar, the sections are now vertical. So you've got tab groups, you've got received links, you've got collected links like bookmarks and reading list. Now tab groups are where things get interesting. Here at the top I see the non-grouped tabs. So the tabs I'm using right now. If I want to change that to a group I can control click on it, right click with a mouse, two finger click on a trackpad, and select New Tab Group with 3 tabs. I could also go to File and then New Tab Group with 3 tabs. Then this will create a new tab group here and let's call this Apple. And I can go to this tab group anytime I want. I've got other tab groups here. I've got one here called News. Let's click on that and you can see it switches to tabs that are in this separate group. I've got 3 tabs here and a 4th one open but I haven't gone anywhere yet. So I can easily switch between these 2 tabs and you can see how quick it is. So it's like you've got all of those tabs open but you're only going to see the ones in that current group. Makes it much cleaner at the top of the screen. You could also create a new tab group by clicking here and select New Empty Tab Group and then you can name it something and you can see it's blank. So now I can start adding new tabs here. So let's go to some search engines. And I'll do Command T for a new tab. And a new one. And now these are in this tab group. So I can move between them pretty easily. And you can I still have this non-grouped set here which just has this one window in it. If I want to create a bunch of extra tabs in here, I'll just create a bunch of start page tabs. You can see that still stays there. So I can switch to these groups and then I've got this ungrouped set of tabs. Now you still have tab overview. So you can see here if I click here it gives me an overview of those tabs. Or I can switch to another group, and then click there and it gives me an overview of those tabs. You've got a nice big plus button here to add a new tab to this group. Moving tabs around works with drag and drop. So I can go in here, click on this tab and drag it around. You can see I got previews here for other tabs if I just hover over the tab and wait. I can also control click on a tab and do all the things I did before. I can duplicate it. I can close it. I can close all the other tabs except this one. And then you even have the ability to close all the tabs to the right or move the tab to a new window or move the tab to a new group. So you can move tabs between groups. And then you can even arrange the tabs by title alphabetically or the website URL alphabetically. Notice you can drag a tab not only around at the top here, but I can bring it all the way over and drop it into another group. There are also features if you control click on a tab group here. You can see I can copy all the links in a little list. I can rename the group, delete it. I can go to the tab overview or jump to any individual tab. So for instance I can do this and it jumps to that individual tab. If I control click here I can go to an individual tab here. It's going to switch to that tab group and take me directly to that tab. And when you search you still get results that include tabs in other groups. So for instance I'll search for MACMOST here and you can see switch to tab. If I use that it's going to switch to that tab group showing that tab. So there is one new preference that you've got. It's similar to something that was there before. It works a little differently. If I'm in this tab group and I create a bunch of new tabs, eventually you could see I get just the icons. There's not enough room for the name. But I could force it to show the name by going to Preferences and under Tabs here I can turn off automatic collapse tab titles and icons. And now you can see as soon as I make a change there that the names appear here. So turning that off, or rather on, you can see compresses it into icons. But you can still use Command and a number to switch between the tabs within the group. You can still have the other options having to do with new tabs, including when pages are open in a new tab, either never, automatically, or always. Now note that there are not a lot of buttons here in the toolbar anymore, but you can customize the toolbar just as before. So if I go to View and then Customize Toolbar, you can see there's a lot I could add back in here. So for instance if I wanted to add the tab overview as a button I could add it in here. I could also put it on this side over here. I could add bookmarks back in. I could add home back in. So you still have the ability to customize things. Just by default, the default group here is going to keep things pretty simple. So that's a general overview of how Safari now works with tabs and tab groups. This seems to be a pretty complete feature here in the first beta. So I don't expect there to be many changes. Everything seems to work really well and smoothly. And I can tell you after playing around with this in macOS Monterey, when I go back to macOS Big Sur, I miss these tab groups. So I think a lot of people are really going to like these once they give them a try. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.